discussions about a national dialogue have topped the agenda of the ANC's NEC meeting. Interim ANC spokesperson Zuko Kotlimpi says that former President Thabo Mbeki made a presentation on the national dialogue and proposals there too. To give us more on this is Natasha Phiri joining us, who had been on the sidelines of the ANC NEC meeting. Natasha, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. It was quite historic that President Thabo Mbeki had made a presentation to the NEC. Of course, he can attend as an ex-officio, but what was the gravity of it?
Well, Oliver, when speaking to the ANC spokesperson Zuko Kotlimpi earlier on, you're quite right in citing him there in your introduction. He made a presentation on, the national dialogue. Of course, ANC NEC members, or the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, will give an extensive, outcome of actually what he said. The former president actually said when he briefs members of the media sometime next week. But of course, we do understand that the modalities of the national dialogue were actually, outlined. Also as to who is intended to actually attend this national dialogue. You would remember that earlier on, about a month or so ago, there were various civil society organizations that also had a meeting talking and discussing the national dialogue. Oliver, remember, this is something that the former President Thabo Mbeki had actually called for before the elections. Remember when he was speaking, at Freedom Park. So it's expected that this national dialogue will actually consolidate or come up with discussions around, the GNU and ways to actually move the country forward. But other discussions that we actually had from the head of political education, David Makura, and of course the head of the ANC's policy, Phoebe, just speaking about, the causes of the electoral decline, what actually caused the ANC to drop to 40% at the polls. And they had cited that some of these reasons, just analyzing and looking at the party, was the state of the organization, the current state of the organization of the ANC, the growth of breakaway parties. And you would know that the MK party not only dealt with, the ANC, but of course every other political party that contested the May 29 polls. Hence, of course, making it the party that actually got the third highest national votes, in the country. Oliver, and just a number of other reasons that were actually cited. The low voter turnout was also another reason that was cited. And the ANC basically taking stock not only of these reasons, but saying that moving forward, they really need to improve on three key priority areas. That, Oliver, of improving, the ANC needs to improve on governance, building also professional public service, which they mentioned under this. They also said that the state needs to be respond speedily to just to basic things and basic services, Oliver. Another main tenet is the issue of the economy, dealing with, the issues of the economy, growing jobs, creating jobs in a country where we've got high youth unemployment and of course high unemployment levels. And of course the last one is the renewal of the ANC. And Phoebe, they're just saying that it is a stark reality for the ANC. It's a do or die moment. It's either the current crop of the ANC or the leadership of the ANC and the ANC as a whole, as an organization, needs to adapt, or it'll face dire consequences in the future. And Phoebe, they're just saying that they cannot let the ANC die under their watch and under the administration. Therefore, they really need to implement and prioritize these key, issues and areas if they actually want to see electoral gains in the 2026 local government elections, which is just a year and a half away, basically, from where we're speaking. So these are just some of the main tenets that also came out. Of course, they were also critical of the DA federal chairperson Helen Zilla's comments, saying that, listen, if anybody wants to leave the GNU, they can leave the GNU. Makura saying that they know why she's ranting, going on and on and on about the GNU, because they had thought, or she had thought, that the DA was actually going to get the upper hand in this situation, but that was not the case. So these are some of the things that actually came out of today's last day of the ANC NEC. Tomorrow will be the ANC NEC Lekgotla, where of course we will see ANC deployees that are deployed to various ministerial posts, ministers, deputy ministers, mayors, and so forth, just coming here to the Birchwood Hotel, having a 3-day meeting and coming up with concrete plans to actually prioritize the ANC's 6 main key tenets of its 2024 manifesto, that of job creation, that of dealing with issues of inequality, and etc., etc. So these are just the main key priorities of the ANC, and of course we do expect ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa to actually close it off. Thereafter, we're all used to this as members of the media. We will have the Secretary General of the ANC, Mr. Phiri Mbalula, briefing members of the media and of course clarifying various issues. Oliver.
Yeah, Natasha, you had asked Gwede Mantashe on the sidelines there what he thinks about Helen Zilla's comments, and he said, "Pay her no mind," effectively, and I'm paraphrasing here. Who else did you speak to outside the confines of the formal structure, and that is to say on the sidelines? And what are their sentiments about the GNU and how things are going in the governing coalition at the moment? Not just regards to Helen Zille, but how it's panning out holistically.
Oliver, can you please repeat the question?
You had spoken to Gwede Mantashe on the sidelines and asked him his views on Helen Zille's comments, and he effectively said, pay them no mind. Have you been able to speak to anyone else on the sidelines outside of the formal engagement about their views as NEC members individually on the ongoing governing coalition, specifically given that there are issues beyond just the Democratic Alliance? There was the issue between the Patriotic Alliance leader, Gayton McKenzie, and his deputy in the Deputy Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture and Recreation. What is the general sentiment at the moment about how the government of National Unity Coalition is playing out?
Well, unfortunately not, Oliver. We managed, luckily by chance, to actually speak to the national chairperson of the ANC, Mr. Gwede Mantashe. And of course, you heard what he said, that Helen Zille, in her remarks, has a clear objective as to why she actually said what she said. But of course, everything that was communicated here was communicated by the spokesperson of the ANC, Mr. Zuko Godlimpi. You would remember yesterday that the Deputy Secretary General of the party had said that her comments are reckless. But it's quite interesting what Zuko Godlimpi had actually said, and to clarify to members of the media, saying that they will not beg the DA or any other party in the government of national unity. If the DA wants to walk, they can actually walk. He further added that the GNU was a strategic maneuver to turn around the ANC's misfortunes and the electoral setback into a strategic, advantage, and saying that, listen, this GNU is not about, one political party per se, but of course all the political parties in the government of national unity. And the ANC is somewhat reiterating time and time again that, listen, it's time to get back to basics, to work for the greater good of the people of South Africa, to set aside their political differences and, of course, put the needs of South Africans first.
Yeah. Natasha Phiri, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it, coming to us live there from the ANC's NEC meeting as it had wrapped up on its final day.